In 3A, this is another matchup, much like the Snyder-Carmel matchup, where I think
another rematch. Right?
Our local team has been looking forward to a rematch like this because last year it was at Luers Field. Mishawaka Marian came in and pretty well handled Bishop Luers. It was 30-7. The Brock kid at quarterback had a big game. He's a dual threat guy to watch again this season with more seasoning under his belt. How do you see this one playing out at Luers Field? 7:30 kick on Friday night.
Whitfield and Hemingway also had good games for Mishawaka Marian last year. They're gone. Brock is back, as you mentioned, a true dual threat guy. And, you know, Bishop Luers just got manhandled last year. This is a Mishawaka Marian team that's not flashy. They're going to come out and they're going to run 4 or 5 yards at a time, and they're happy doing it. And they're going to eat 7, 8, 9 minutes off the clock. So when you look at a team in Marian, similar to like playing Navy, you're going to have limited possessions, right? And Luers is going to have to maximize those possessions. That's going to be the key thing, I think, Friday.
Belmont gave Luers a game last week, and we've talked quite a bit over the last couple of weeks about how crazy it's been for Belmont to go, you know, winless in the regular season and to kick it up here in the playoffs. But 27-14, the one thing that really stuck out to me, though, is that Norman Kanapke to Nate Moore is a pretty good combination. 3 touchdowns, some amazing catches. We've talked about Kanapke. He's got the big numbers, but a lot of it has been off screens, yards after the catch from Jordan Presley, Justin Gaston. But it seems like with Moore, he has a downfield target and a guy that has now proven himself. Concordia would obviously concur. Yeah. He had a big catch in overtime in the regular season. But I feel like their offense is becoming even more versatile as time wears on, and that can only be a problem for Mishawaka Marian.
So many weapons across the field, and you have Kanapke, a year older from a year ago, that I think can make a lot of plays in the passing game. And when we go forward and people want to talk and bring up Player of the Year candidates, Norman Kanapke is definitely in the conversation, and with every round that Luers advances, we'll get a bigger and bigger kind of a spotlight on him for that award. I mean, he's thrown over 2,600 yards, 30 touchdowns as a senior. But the kid has been phenomenal to get the ball in the hands of his playmakers, and I think that's the key for Bishop Luers. Again, Jordan Presley back this year. Again, last year was hurt in the second offensive possession of this game and didn't see play the rest of the game.
Was it concussion or neck?
It was some sort of neck thing.
Something you don't want to mess with.
Yeah, whatever it was, it took him out of that game. And he was a real dual two-way guy last year. Played a lot of defense.
Three-way guy
with special teams. Yeah, so the playmaker that is Jordan Presley back for Bishop Luers. The revenge factor, too. This has a lot of intrigue going into Friday.
The one thing that, if I'm Kyle Lindsay, the one thing that sticks out to me is, so Mishawaka Marian won last week. They beat McConaughey 35-7. But Mishawaka Marian only had 21 plays from scrimmage. They were big, like their first, I believe it was their first play from scrimmage, was like a 71-yard run. Yeah. I mean, they were chunk yardage touchdowns. I know that historically, like you were saying, they're kind of a grinded out team. But last week against McConaughey, man, they just took them to the woodshed, play after play after play. 21 snaps for 35 points.
That's a big concern, because if there's one weakness with Bishop Luers throughout this year, it's been the defense, right? I mean, they're playing better as of late, but this is still a team that was just run all over by teams. Northside, you remember that game. Some other games, they just gave up huge amounts of yards on the ground. And then you're looking at a Mishawaka Marian team that predominantly moves the ball on the ground or scores on the ground. So, you know, where's that Luers defense? I think that's going to be huge, obviously, particularly up front as winning those battles because, yeah, 4, 5, 6 yards is Marian's kind of MO, but they can also score on long touchdowns, which the Luers defense has been susceptible to giving up this season.